Hi everybody and welcome back. In today's video I'm going to take you through the song All of Me by John Legend, and I've put that into Easy Violin tab for you, which is what you're looking at here. So this link I will put in the description bar directly underneath this video. It will be completely free for you to print out and everything, and yeah, so it'll be that, and it's 2 pages long. And I'm not going to do a performance of this, so I'm just going to take you through it and show you how the tab works and everything, and little hints and tips and everything, so you know what you're doing when you get the music. But I have a proper performance of this that I've done from this tab on my other channel, which I will link directly underneath, or I'll have coming up right here now. So I have a new channel called Alison Sparrow, and it's just where I have all the performances, all my violin and piano, and a mixture of both actually, performances on that channel. But for every performance I have on that channel, I will have a tutorial for that as well, either on the violin or the piano, depending on whatever I've done the performance on, and that will be on this channel, which is my tutorial channel, the online violin and piano tutor. So I will, the video will be here if you want to watch the performance of what I'm about to teach you to do now, or it will be in the description bar directly underneath this video if you can't get the annotations. So go and have a look at that video and subscribe to that channel as well. So please help support that channel and subscribe to that channel. So I've started off by putting some dots on my violin. I've put the first finger dot and the third finger dot on. I'll put a link to a video on where to put these dots. So I've got precise measurements if you don't know where to put the dots and everything. I'll put that, if I remember, I'll put that in the description bar directly underneath this video as well, so you know where to put them. Click the link, print out your copy of All of Me, and if you want to learn how to play this, please keep watching. Okay, so first of all I'm going to tell you how this tab sheet works. Now I'm going to assume you've printed out your copy, because I don't think this is coming out very much on camera, but if you've printed out your copy at home, you'll be able to follow along with me and you'll know what I'm talking about. If you want to buy the backing track that will go exactly with this tab sheet music, I'll put a link to that directly underneath as well. And if you want to have the MP3 of me doing the whole recording myself, which is also on that video on my other channel, then I'll put links under there, and I'll put all the links under here as well. So for anybody who doesn't know how tab works, what I've done is put the words to the song. I started off by putting an intro, so count 8 bars of 4 beats, or just count to 32 as soon as the music starts, whatever is easier for you. And I've broken it down into verse and chorus and that kind of thing, and I've just written down the words, so you've got something to follow. Otherwise, if I just put numbers and strings, you wouldn't know when to play them and what to, you know, it wouldn't make head nor tail. So you can follow the words as the music is going along, assuming that obviously you know this song quite well. And then above every word also there is a number, and that's referring to what finger goes on the violin. And then above that is the string that you're going to put it on. So for example, the first string you're going to be playing is the A string, and I've drawn a line going all the way across until when it gets to smart, you've got a 4th finger, but that's on the D string. So when you have a string, so the first string is A, the line going all the way across it just tells you that you know, you're going to be on the A string for all of that until you get to the next string. So that's why I've done that. So all of those numbers there, what first finger is on what, second finger is on would, second finger is I, second finger is do, second finger is with, and then the second half of without is finger 2 as well. Your is finger 1, and that's all on the A string. And then when it gets to smart, it's 4th finger on the D string. Mouth is 4th finger on the D string, so on and so forth. So that's how those work. So just follow that through. This will follow, there's 2 pages to it. This will follow exactly with the backing track that I used. The backing track I did myself. I've done kind of a live lounge version of it as well, so I put some drums with it. So I've done the backing track completely myself, so that will fit exactly with that. And the only other thing I need to mention is that where you have to put your fingers. So this is where this comes in. So if you don't need to put these dots in, that's absolutely fine. But I've written on here in red next to it that every note is back from where it would usually be. So what I mean by that is that the first finger is normally on the first dot. So let's say the green one here. The third finger normally goes on the orange dot. on this second dot here, which is orange for me, the second finger can either go stretched, which is next to the third finger, or the second finger can go back, which is next to the first finger. Remember, the second finger never hovers in the middle. It either goes right next to the third finger or back next to the next to the first finger. So everything is back. So what that means is that the first finger is normally on the dot, which means it's back now. So it's just above where you get to that little knobbly bit at the top of the violin, or the nut of the violin. The third finger, which is normally on the orange dot, is just slightly behind it. So imagine if you had, it's just sort of a finger width sort of behind it. The second finger is back. So the second finger is just going to be above the first dot, or the green dot, or next to the second finger. And the fourth finger, which I haven't got a dot here, which is normally about here. It's normally about, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of an inch apart from the third finger dot. So if I put my third finger on the dot and I put my fourth finger down, you can see I've got a good kind of, almost a good finger's width in between that. The fourth finger is also back. So in other words, the fourth finger is going to be just above the dot. So those are quite important. I know I could have put this in a different key to make it a lot easier, but I didn't. I kept it in the same key just because if you wanted to play it along with the actual recording, you wouldn't be able to if I put it in a different key. Plus, I just thought it would just present a little bit of a challenge. I know a lot of you don't like using fourth fingers and things, but you know, this is a really good piece to do that with. So if I just play the first line to you. So that's the first part. So all of those on the A, so the 1, the 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, they're all on the A string, and they're all just back to where they would be. So my first finger is not on the green dot, it's going to be back. And then the second finger, which we would normally, I suppose, there isn't really a normal place but for the second finger, but we've said it's going to be just above the green. So now you've got 2 fourth fingers on the D string, so I'm going to put my fourth finger just above the orange dot. I'm going to carry on to the next line. So that fourth finger you've got there for me is still going to be just above the orange dot, and then the second finger is going to be just above the green dot. And that's pretty much the same all the way along. So when you get to Magical Mystery Ride, I'm on your Magical Mystery Ride, you have a 3 there. So this is a little bit awkward for the third finger, but the third finger normally goes on the orange dot, but the third finger is going just behind the orange dot. In other words, it goes where the second finger would be if the second finger was next to the third finger. So it's a little bit confusing to get your head around that, but because we're dealing with tab, we don't have to worry so much about what notes we're talking about. We just have to sort of think where the finger placement is going to be on the violin. So if I did that line, I'm on your Magical Mystery Ride. So if you notice what I did there, a back 3, the 2 is going to be pretty much next door to it, or just above the green. The 1 is back, the 4 is back on the D string. See, so all the 3s, and I'm so dizzy. So in other words, the third finger can just slot in quite nicely behind the second finger. So the rest of it just goes on like that, really. You just have to remember that the first finger is now going to be back, the second finger is going to be just above the first finger dot, the third finger is going to pretty much sort of be next to that, or in other words, just behind the orange dot or the third finger dot, and the fourth finger is going to be just above that or just slightly over where the third finger dot, or just the orange dot, and that is exactly where all of your fingers are all the way throughout this piece. You just have to negotiate yourself around the strings, so just be aware of when it's going onto the A string and when it's going onto the E string. So that's about it really. I can carry on and just play the pre-chorus so you can see a little bit. So that's pretty much it. Now, some people might say that why am I using loads of fourth fingers? Why don't I go into third position? That's a perfectly good question, and I probably would go into third position. However, that would completely defeat the object of doing violin tab and making this so accessible for everybody. So I think keeping it in the same key, the original key, with lots of flats in it is probably complicated enough. Than trying to make it even more complicated and start using third position. So the whole point of violin tab, easy violin tab, is so that you guys who are beginners can play this. So yes, to everybody else out there, you wouldn't perhaps do so many fourth fingers. You'd want to go into probably maybe second position, possibly going into third position, wherever you like. But you know, that's more complicated. That's up to you if you want to do that. But for the purpose of violin tab, I've just kept it with all the fourth fingers. That's hard enough as it is anyway. But if anything, folks, after you've played this, you are going to be masters at using the fourth finger and playing in loads of flat notes as well. So I don't think there's anything else I need to mention. The only other thing with the tab is that it just says things like repeat verse 1 again, repeat pre-chorus, chorus again. It just saved me having to write everything all out again. So again, the backing track that I've done is going to be available underneath, as is the MP3 recording, and go and subscribe to my other channel of my performances. Go and give that channel some love and everything and your support. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. Check out all the other easy violin tabs that I've done as well, so I've got some cool ones coming up. Royals by Lord, Sweet Child of Mine, that kind of thing. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next video.